Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad you're here today. I believe this message is going to speak right to your heart. You see, in life, we all face moments when people test our patience, when situations try to steal our peace. Maybe it's a coworker who pushes your buttons, a family member who knows exactly what to say to get under your skin, or even a stranger on the road who cuts you off. But here's the good news. You don't have to let it bother you. You don't have to give away your joy, your energy, or your peace to things outside of your control. God didn't create you to live frustrated, upset, or weighed down by negativity. He created you to rise above, to stay steady, to walk in strength and confidence no matter what comes your way. Today, I want to talk to you about how you can train your mind and spirit to be unshakable, to never let anger or frustration take control of your life. Because when you master this, you don't just change your emotions, you change your entire future. Get ready, because I believe this is a word that will set you free. In life, we all encounter situations that test our patience. Maybe it's a rude comment from a coworker, a friend who lets us down, or a stranger who acts inconsiderately. It's easy to let these moments dictate our emotions, to react in frustration or anger. But the truth is, we cannot control what others do. We can only control how we respond. The power is not in changing the behavior of those around us, but in mastering our own reaction. Too often, people allow external circumstances to determine their inner peace. They let someone's bad attitude ruin their whole day. They replay an argument in their minds, letting resentment build up. They react impulsively, saying things they later regret. This cycle keeps them trapped, constantly affected by the moods and actions of others. But freedom comes when we realize that no one can control our emotions unless we allow them to. When we react out of frustration, we give away our power. It means we are letting the outside world dictate how we feel on the inside. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Your immediate instinct might be to honk the horn, yell in frustration, or carry that irritation with you throughout the day. But in reality, that person has moved on. They are not thinking about you. Yet you are still holding on to that anger. That's the trap, getting emotionally entangled in something that ultimately doesn't matter. The same thing happens in relationships and workplaces. Someone might say something offensive, disrespectful, or dismissive, and suddenly your peace is gone. You start overanalyzing their words, wondering why they acted that way. You replay the situation in your head, making it bigger than it actually is. But what if, instead, you chose not to engage emotionally? What if you reminded yourself that their behavior is a reflection of them? When you detach yourself from the need to react, you gain control over your own emotions. One of the most powerful things you can do is develop emotional discipline. This means learning how to pause before reacting, to take a step back and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. People act out of their own frustrations, insecurities, and struggles. When someone is rude or dismissive, it often has nothing to do with you. They may be dealing with stress, disappointment, or unresolved issues of their own. Understanding this allows you to respond with wisdom rather than reacting with anger. Emotional maturity is realizing that you don't have to engage with negativity. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to defend yourself against every criticism. Not every battle is worth fighting. When you refuse to react, you take away the power that negativity has over you. It doesn't mean you allow people to mistreat you. It means you rise above it. You choose peace over conflict. Think about the times you've reacted out of anger. Maybe you snapped at someone and later regretted it. Maybe you sent a message in frustration and wished you could take it back. Reactions made in anger rarely lead to positive outcomes. But when you choose to stay calm, to respond with wisdom instead of impulse, you put yourself in a position of strength. You demonstrate self-control, which is one of the greatest indicators of true power. Developing this level of self-mastery requires practice. It starts with small moments. When you feel irritation rising, take a deep breath instead of reacting. When someone speaks rudely to you, remind yourself that their words do not define you. When you feel the urge to respond in frustration, choose silence instead. Each time you do this, you build a habit of emotional strength. You train yourself to stay in control no matter what happens around you. This is not about suppressing emotions, but about redirecting them. Instead of reacting impulsively, you learn to channel that energy into something positive. You shift your focus from what is bothering you to what truly matters. When you stop allowing others to dictate your emotions, you become unshakable. You are no longer easily offended, no longer thrown off course by negativity. Instead, you remain steady, grounded, and in control. Your peace is one of the most valuable things you have, yet so many people give it away freely to things that don't deserve it. They let small inconveniences, rude comments, and other people's negativity steal their joy. They allow situations outside of their control to determine how they feel on the inside. But real strength comes when you learn to protect your peace at all costs, refusing to let external circumstances dictate your internal state. There will always be things trying to disrupt your peace. People will say things that offend you. Unexpected situations will arise. Life will not always go according to plan. But the key is understanding that peace is something you choose, not something that is given or taken away by the outside world. It is an internal decision to remain calm, steady, and unmoved, no matter what is happening around you. Many people believe that peace comes when everything in life is going smoothly. They think, I'll be at peace when I get that job, when my relationships are perfect, when I have no problems. But peace is not found in the absence of difficulties. It is found in the ability to remain unshaken despite them. If your peace is dependent on your circumstances, then you will always be at the mercy of things outside your control. One of the biggest ways people lose their peace is by focusing too much on what they cannot change. They dwell on past mistakes, replaying events in their minds that they have no power to alter. They stress over the future, worrying about things that may never even happen. They let someone else's bad attitude ruin their mood, as if another person's negativity has the right to dictate how they feel. But when you recognize that your peace is yours to protect, you stop letting these things have control over you. Imagine someone criticizes you unfairly. Your first instinct may be to defend yourself, to argue, to prove them wrong. But in doing so, you've already lost your peace. You've allowed their words to pull you into frustration. What if instead you chose not to engage? What if you reminded yourself that their opinion does not define you and walked away? That is protecting your peace. It is choosing to value your well-being over the need to react to every negative situation. Social media is another place where people constantly give away their peace. They compare their lives to highlight reels of others, feeling inadequate because they see only the best parts of someone else's journey. They engage in pointless arguments with strangers, allowing themselves to be emotionally drained over things that don't truly matter. But when you make the conscious decision to disengage from anything that disturbs your inner calm, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. It's important to set boundaries with people who constantly bring negativity into your life. Some people thrive on drama, always looking for something to complain about, always dragging others into their problems. If you're not careful, their energy will affect you. You don't have to cut people off completely, but you do need to protect your space. You can love people from a distance. You can choose not to engage in gossip, not to entertain conversations that drain your energy, not to absorb the negativity that others bring. Your thoughts also play a major role in maintaining your peace. If you constantly replay past hurts, hold on to grudges, or fill your mind with anxious thoughts, you are sabotaging your own peace. But when you take control of your thoughts, choosing to focus on what uplifts and strengthens you, you shift your entire mindset. The way you think determines the way you feel. If you dwell on negativity, you will feel heavy and anxious. If you focus on gratitude, on things that bring you joy, on the good in your life, you will feel at peace. There is power in learning to let things go. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every situation requires your energy. When you become selective about what you allow to affect you, you take back control over your emotions. You stop carrying unnecessary burdens. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself to people who will never understand you. You stop reacting to everything that happens around you and instead move through life with a steady, unshaken spirit. In moments of frustration, the natural response is often to react immediately. When someone speaks to you disrespectfully, when things don't go as planned, when emotions start to rise, the instinct is to respond without thinking. But the ability to pause before reacting is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. It separates those who are controlled by their emotions from those who control their emotion. That pause is the difference between regret and wisdom, between impulsive words that cause damage and a response that keeps your peace intact. Training your mind to pause before reacting doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means giving yourself the space to process what's happening before allowing your emotions to dictate your actions. In the heat of the moment, when anger or frustration arises, taking even a few seconds to pause allows you to respond from a place of clarity rather than impulse. It creates space between the trigger and your reaction, giving you time to decide whether engaging is even worth your energy. Many people regret the things they say and do in moments of frustration. They lash out, say things they don't mean, and later wish they had handled the situation differently. But once words are spoken, they can't be taken back. Once actions are made, they leave an impact. That's why mastering the ability to pause is so important. It prevents the damage that comes from reacting out of emotion rather than wisdom. When you feel anger rising, the best thing you can do is take a breath and step back mentally. Instead of instantly responding, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will this matter in a week? Is reacting going to improve the situation or make it worse? Most of the time, reacting impulsively only escalates the situation. But if you give yourself time to pause, you regain control over your emotions rather than allowing your emotions to control you. Some of the most powerful people in the world are not the loudest, not the ones who react quickly, but the ones who know how to stay composed in any situation. Their strength is not in overpowering others, but in mastering themselves. They have trained their minds to pause, to think before they speak, to remain steady when others are losing control. This level of self-mastery is not something that happens overnight, but it is something that can be developed with consistent effort. One of the reasons people struggle with pausing before reacting is that they feel an urgent need to defend themselves. They feel like they have to prove a point, to make their voice heard, to make sure the other person knows they are right. But real strength is not found in proving yourself to others. It is found in knowing who you are and refusing to let outside situations shake you. When you are secure in yourself, you don't feel the need to react to every little thing. You understand that silence is often more powerful than words. Practicing the habit of pausing can be as simple as counting to 3 before responding, taking a deep breath before speaking, or even walking away from a situation that doesn't deserve your energy. It's about being intentional with your reactions instead of allowing your emotions to take control. It's about reminding yourself that not every situation requires an immediate response. When you master the ability to pause before reacting, you gain a level of control that most people never develop. You stop being easily provoked. You stop letting small things ruin your mood. You become unshakable, steady, and in control of your emotions. You move through life with a sense of calm that allows you to handle any situation with wisdom and grace. Your mind is constantly receiving input from the world around you. Conversations, social media, news, past experiences, and personal thoughts. Every day your mind is filtering through an endless stream of information. And what you choose to focus on has a direct impact on how you feel. If you focus on negativity, on things that make you angry or frustrated, then those emotions will take root and grow. But if you learn to direct your focus toward things that bring you peace, strength, and clarity, you will find yourself naturally becoming calmer, more resilient, and less reactive. Most people go through life allowing their focus to be dictated by whatever is happening around them. If someone insults them, they dwell on it. If they face an inconvenience, they let it ruin their day. If they hear bad news, they replay it in their minds over and over. But you don't have to let your focus be controlled by external circumstances. You have the power to shift your attention toward things that build you up instead of things that tear you down. One of the biggest mistakes people make is giving too much mental energy to things they cannot control. They stress over other people's opinions, worry about situations that are out of their hands, and replay past conversations that can't be changed. But what good does it do to focus on things that you have no power over? It only drains you, steals your peace, and keeps you stuck in a cycle of frustration. When you train yourself to focus only on what is within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. The more you practice redirecting your focus, the easier it becomes to stay calm in situations that would have previously made you angry. Instead of fixating on how someone wronged you, you focus on how you can move forward. Instead of dwelling on a problem, you focus on solutions. Instead of feeding into negativity, you shift your attention to things that bring you peace. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending that problems don't exist. It means choosing to give your energy to what strengthens you instead of what drains you. One of the most powerful ways to train your focus is to be mindful of what you consume, the conversations you engage in, the content you watch, the people you spend time with. All of these things influence your mindset. If you surround yourself with negativity, it will affect the way you think and feel. But if you are intentional about feeding your mind with positivity, wisdom, and encouragement, you will naturally start to develop a more peaceful and resilient mindset. Gratitude is another tool that can help shift your focus. When you make a habit of focusing on what you're grateful for instead of what's going wrong, your entire perspective changes. Instead of seeing inconveniences as burdens, you see them as opportunities to grow. Instead of letting one bad moment ruin your day, you remind yourself of all the good that still exists. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means choosing to acknowledge the blessings that are present even in the midst of them. There will always be things in life that try to steal your focus. Distractions, negativity, setbacks, and difficult people will always exist. But when you take control of your focus and train yourself to direct it toward things that build you up, you become unshaken by external circumstances. You develop the ability to remain steady even in the midst of chaos. You stop allowing temporary emotions to dictate your long-term mindset. You gain a level of mental clarity that allows you to navigate life with wisdom, strength, and unshakable peace. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life is learning to detach your emotions from the actions and words of other people. Too often, people allow their peace to be dictated by how others treat them. If someone is kind, they feel good. If someone is rude, they feel offended. If someone agrees with them, they feel validated. If someone criticizes them, they feel discouraged. Living this way puts your emotional state in the hands of people who may not always have your best interest in mind. But when you learn to detach emotionally, you take back control over how you feel, regardless of how others behave. Emotional detachment does not mean being cold, indifferent, or uncaring. It means developing a mindset where your inner peace is not dependent on external circumstances. It means understanding that other people's opinions, moods, and behaviors are a reflection of them, not you. When you fully grasp this, you stop taking things personally. You stop letting other people's negativity invade your mind. You stop feeling the need to defend yourself against every insult, criticism, or misunderstanding. Many people spend too much time worrying about what others think. They analyze conversations, replay interactions in their heads, and stress over how they were perceived. But the truth is, most people are too busy thinking about themselves to spend much time thinking about you. And even if they do have an opinion, it is based on their own experiences, beliefs, and biases. It has nothing to do with your actual worth or character. When you detach from the need for external validation, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and insecurity. Another powerful aspect of emotional detachment is understanding that you cannot control how other people behave. You can't control whether someone treats you with respect. You can't control whether someone understands your perspective. You can't control whether someone chooses to act with kindness or hostility. But you can control how you respond. You can control whether you let their actions disrupt your peace. You can control whether you engage in negativity or rise above it. When you stop expecting others to act a certain way, you stop being disappointed when they don't. Many frustrations come from unrealistic expectations, expecting someone to treat you with the same level of respect you give them, expecting people to always be fair, expecting the world to operate in a way that makes sense to you. But the reality is, people will act according to their own nature, not according to your expectations. When you release those expectations, you release unnecessary frustration. Emotional detachment also helps in situations where people try to manipulate or provoke a reaction from you. Some people thrive on drama. They get satisfaction from seeing others upset, from controlling how others feel, from pulling people into their negativity. But when you refuse to engage, you take away their power. When you stay calm, when you don't react, when you refuse to be emotionally invested in their games, they lose control over you. You become untouchable, no longer an easy target for manipulation or emotional distress. Detachment is not about avoiding emotions altogether. It's about managing them in a way that keeps you in control. It's about recognizing that while you may feel anger, disappointment, or frustration, you don't have to act on those emotions impulsively. You can acknowledge them without letting them dictate your actions. You can feel them without letting them take over your mind. This is the key to maintaining peace in any situation. The more you practice emotional detachment, the stronger your mindset becomes. You begin to see things more objectively instead of through the lens of emotion. You start to realize that most things that upset you are not worth your energy. You no longer feel the need to react to every little thing. You develop a sense of emotional independence that allows you to stay centered no matter what is happening around you. Self-awareness is one of the most powerful tools you can develop if you want to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Most people go through life reacting automatically to situations without understanding why they feel the way they do. They get upset, frustrated, or offended without pausing to analyze the root cause of their emotions. But when you cultivate deep self-awareness, you gain the ability to observe your thoughts and emotions objectively rather than being controlled by them. This allows you to make conscious choices instead of acting on impulse. Understanding your emotional triggers is a key part of self-awareness. Everyone has specific words, actions, or situations that tend to set them off. Maybe it's feeling disrespected, being ignored, or having your opinions challenged. When these triggers are activated, your emotions take over and you react in ways that you may later regret. But when you take the time to identify your triggers, you create an opportunity to respond differently. Instead of being caught off guard by strong emotions, you recognize what is happening in the moment and make a choice to remain calm. Developing self-awareness also involves examining the deeper reasons behind your reactions. Many times, what bothers you about other people has more to do with something unresolved within yourself than with the actual situation. If someone's arrogance irritates you, it may be because deep down you struggle with feelings of inadequacy. If someone's criticism angers you, it may be because you secretly fear they are right. If being ignored makes you upset, it may be because you associate it with past experiences of rejection. When you look inward and address these underlying insecurities, you will find that the external triggers lose their power over you. Another aspect of self-awareness is being mindful of your thoughts throughout the day. Your inner dialogue has a direct impact on how you feel. If you constantly tell yourself that people are rude, unfair, or disrespectful, you will start to see the world through that lens. But if you train yourself to adopt a more neutral or positive perspective, you will naturally become less reactive. Instead of assuming the worst about someone's actions, you give them the benefit of the doubt. Instead of internalizing negativity, you let it pass without affecting you. This shift in mindset creates a powerful sense of emotional stability. A strong level of self-awareness also allows you to differentiate between what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Not every situation requires a reaction. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every battle is worth fighting. When you become aware of the unnecessary conflicts you engage in, you can start choosing peace instead. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means mastering them so that they work for you, not against you. Another way to strengthen self-awareness is through mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness means observing your thoughts and emotions without immediately reacting to them. When something upsets you, instead of lashing out or holding on to resentment, you take a step back and simply observe your reaction. You ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is this emotion based on fact or assumption? Will reacting in anger solve anything? This practice creates space between emotion and reaction, giving you time to make a calm and wise decision. Journaling is another tool that can deepen self-awareness. When you write down your thoughts and feelings regularly, you begin to notice patterns in your emotions and behaviors. You start to see what triggers you, how you typically react, and where you can improve. Writing things out helps bring clarity, allowing you to process your emotions in a healthy way rather than letting them control you. The more you practice self-awareness, the more you realize that most of what used to bother you no longer has the same effect. You begin to see that your reactions are a choice. You understand that external events don't have the power to disturb your inner peace unless you allow them to. You become more in tune with yourself, more in control of your emotions. and ultimately more unshakable in the face of negativity.